We think of companies as things that sell us products. But a few grew so powerful they had their own armies, money, and colonies. Some were worth more than entire nations. These are the companies that became empires. I'm Thomas, started in Amsterdam 400 years ago, with a company most people have never heard of, the VOC. The Dutch East India Company was the first to sell shares to the public. At its peak, it may have been worth $7 trillion in today's money. Bigger than Apple, Amazon, and Google combined. It had its own warships, printed its own money, and waged its own wars. A private company that acted like a superpower. Across the sea, Britain had its own monster, the East India Company. And it did something no company should ever be able to do. It conquered and ruled the entire Indian subcontinent. Its private army was twice the size of Britain's own. It collected taxes from hundreds of millions of people. For a century, a corporation literally governed a fifth of humanity. A new kind of giant rose with oil, Standard Oil. It controlled 90% of all the oil in America. It crushed every rival and set prices for an entire nation. It became so powerful the government forcibly broke it apart. And its fragments became some of the biggest companies alive today. And today, a handful of tech giants carry on the tradition. The biggest are now worth over $3 trillion each. That's larger than the entire economy of most countries on Earth. They don't have armies, but they shape how billions of us live. The faces change. The pattern never does. Spices, oil, and now data. Every era has a company that grows bigger than the nations around it. And whoever controls the era's most valuable thing ends up holding a kind of power kings used to dream of. When a company gets big enough, it stops being a business and becomes a power. Subscribe and follow Gemback for more.